Guys, this is Eben Atripunda from Eben and Fabi, walking triumphantly. We're still contemplating on whether to still keep our channel's name Eben and Fabi or walking triumphantly. But I think we will decide that in the near future. Fabi will join us soon with the introduction as well. So just keep your fingers crossed as she will come across. But somehow this accident caught me off guard. I did not know. I didn't know what happened. I had just had a chat with my doctor, who told me you will not be able to walk again. Of course, when the doctor told me that, I felt he didn't know what he was talking about. I felt over time I just have to shake myself off of the bed and just get off and walk. I felt if they could give me an opportunity to stand and kind of stand in a place where there's frames where I can hold on to, I will be able to gain my strength back and just shake myself and walk. So I think that was my place as I was in the hospital. So I had to come to a place where I would find peace in the new developments and find certain answers that will bring solace to me. So that's what this video is going to be about. I'm going to talk about this, what I needed to go through, the journey I walked through to be able to find peace in this new reality. I divided the stages I went through into 3 stages, and they are as follows. The first stage that I went through was, of course, being introduced to the spinal cord injury, what it was and what it meant. Up to then, honestly, I had not really read that much about spinal cord injuries. I was shocked. I had to go through some counseling for them to explain to me slowly what had gone on in my body and what are the new changes. I was in unbelief. I felt the doctors didn't know what they're talking about. I was not really angry with God, really. I was just surprised at how off guard I was. Like I was surprised how I didn't see that coming. I think that's where I was. To pray at night, I would pray and ask God, what is this? What is going on? You know, and it would be strange nights. You know, my body would not feel like my body, and sometimes I would wake up and I would feel like I'm hanging upside down. You know, it was like I'm in a strange body, and I would feel a lot of burning sensation mostly on the left leg. So there was no peace in my body, and I needed to find peace. It was a stage of shock. It was a stage of being educated about spinal cord injury. What had happened to my spine also was not a. I think also this is what led to me not believing really how this was not going to be an extended injury, an extended ailment, because the doctor, how he explained to me was my spine was not completely cut or completely shattered. My spine was partially crushed from the head on, as the impact was on my head, pushing my spine to be pressured around the C6, C7 region, as I said. So he said it was not complete. It was not a complete cut. It was just a smash, but not a full smash also. So what happened was he had to screw my head and put what he called cone calipers and put weights on the bed to pull my neck out of this smashing position, and that. So I felt as soon as they removed the cone calipers and I'm free to move around, I will be able to walk again. But as you may guess, that was not the case. Soon, when I was ready to get up, because of lying down for a very long time, I could not get up because I was feeling dizzy because of the blood flow having changed because of the position that I was lying into for an extended period of time. So I could not get up without feeling very dizzy. I mean, extreme dizziness that would I would feel like I'm gonna faint in most cases. So I had to deal with this passing out situation for at least a month or so. It was a very severe problem, and that could not. That brought a feeling of helplessness into my mind, you know, because I had learned a lot about God healing people, as it is written in the word, saying Jesus went about doing good, healing all manner of sicknesses. So I knew Jesus was about healing, and since I was in a relationship with him, a personal relationship with him, I knew the very first person to go to was Jesus. So up front, I turned into the gear of seeking for healing. Right in the hospital where I was, there was cable TV. I would go to Christian channels, switch, and just begin to watch healing ministers just praying for the sick, and I would see these people being healed. One of the healing ministers is a local healing minister, and they usually had a service on Sundays evening, where they would pray for people, for the sick, and I would watch all the time on Sunday evenings. So so I spoke to the nurse superintendent and told her, here's how I think I want to go. And I remember I just gained my strength and now dealt with the nausea and the dizziness I was feeling, and I could now sit up straight on the bed or in the wheelchair, but I was not in a place to get out yet. I mean, I was weak, very weak. I needed to go through a physiotherapy, and I needed to begin to regain my strength. Well, the nurse superintendent thought it was not a good idea at start, but I pressured her. I mean, I was, I think, also psychologically not myself. I wanted to get this and over with. As I told you in the previous video, I had been on trips where we had gone to preach the word, and I knew God had the power to get me out of this situation fast. The more I waited, the longer it's gonna take. So I needed to do something about it. So the superintendent eventually gave in. She eventually gave in. She gave me a wheelchair and a nurse to accompany me, and my parents, of course. So we came at this healing service. We were in a queue, a lot of people needing healing, most of them strong enough to sit for a long time. Coming from the hospital, was not really well, and I couldn't sit for a very long time. I was flimsy and weak. So there was so much pressure, and I knew that as that man would lay his hands on me, I'm gonna receive power and strength, and I'm gonna just shake myself out of this wheelchair. Before I move on, being in the hospital and having been allowed by the superintendent that I'm gonna go that would be like on a Friday. So then I had to spend that Friday in the hospital, and Saturday and then Sunday evening was the time I would be going to the healing to the healing service. I had spoken to the nurses and told them I'm not gonna need you to wash me anymore and to feed me or to brush my teeth when I come back from the healing service, and I'm just gonna be strong, and I'm gonna be there. I'm not gonna need your help anymore. To some of the nurses, I was so rude. I I told myself, I told them that the power of God is able to get me out of this thing. You know, all I need is just anyone with the healing gift to just pray for me, and I'll be fine. You know. So this is what and then the nurses put up with me. You know, some of them were angry. They threw the towels away and they walked away on me. So I had stirred the whole sort of the whole nurses staff and really just turned them against me in this whole thing. Some of them would ask me to manage my expectation and to calm down and not really to confess all these things. But confession to me was key, because confession was faith. Power of life and death is in your tongue. You declare things, then it shall come to pass. You know, these are simple things I have been taught. So, having arrived at the healing service, this healing minister started praying for the people. He prayed and came to me and prayed for me as well. But his praying was not as aggressive as I thought. I mean, this guy, he's authentic, I must say, and nothing against him. But he came to me and prayed for me and saw the situation I was in. And he was told I came straight from the hospital. And he prayed and then walked away. He didn't even try to get me out of a wheelchair or something. I felt so disappointed. He did not do as much. So he prayed for the rest of the people and then came back to me, because I called him back and said, no, pray for me, I want to go back walking. So he came to me and started encouraging me in his own words, and I did not hear most of his encouragement. I think the things I picked up there was I needed to go to his website to download some of his healing teachings and his healing books, and I needed to do that. I was shocked. I said, no, the Bible says heal the sick. You know, you are a Christian, you have the power to heal the sick, so heal me. I mean, pray for me. But he was not going to do that, because he felt I was not ready. But I felt he was ready. Why wouldn't he pray for me? I mean, he was ready. But well, that's what he felt. He encouraged me to go on his website and prayed for him. And download his resources, healing stuff, and healing teachings, and healing books. So I had to come back to the hospital on the wheelchair, still very weak and very tired from the ordeal, and I was so disappointed. The first night I came back to the hospital, I just was so tired. I didn't see myself. I just fell asleep. So it was around 8 o'clock, I think, in the evening. So I slept and until in the morning, the nurses did not wake me up to wash me as was the routine. What would happen is every morning at about 7 a.m. they would wake us up and give us, probably earlier, like 6 a.m. or something. So they would give us baths and they would get us ready for breakfast. But this morning the nurses left me, they didn't wake me up. I slept like a baby because I was so tired. That was the first time in a long time I had been that tired. So I woke up, I rang the bell to call the nurses because I felt deadly and I needed cleaning and I was so hungry. So I must thank the nurses. I will tell you, these guys just ignored me, ignored the things I was saying, and just helped me, continued helping me as I needed them. I felt shame, a lot of shame, having treated these guys rudely, and I felt I had to talk. I had to make things better, but I didn't have the guts to do that, so there was just this awkward silence as they helped me, and eventually over time the awkwardness went away and we built friendship, and as I began to also kind of understand that this was gonna be a journey, so I felt I was gonna find someone bigger, someone who has more faith. So on cable TV again, there was another gentleman, another healing minister who operated in South Africa. The healing services were called the healing schools. So I prepared myself, but I had to get out of the hospital before going there. So I had to wait a little bit. I had to rest a little bit. I had to do physio. I had to to build up muscles a little bit. But anyway, time came that I could go to the healing minister, and again we went through 2 weeks of just confessing the word, getting into the word, just memorizing the word and just confessing it to ourselves and speaking it to our being. And then the 2 weeks came. But when the 2 weeks came, the staff that we were going through at this healing school felt we were not ready to see the healing minister, to see the man of God. We were shocked, like, oh, but part of the reason why we came there, part of the faith was hinged on the fact that we were going to meet this guy. And now we were not able to meet him because they felt we were not ready. I felt, it's just not right. I mean, he is a child of God. I mean, it is written about the children of God that they will heal the sick. I did not understand why they wanted our faith to work here. I didn't understand. So I had to come back, still not healed. Or probably healed, but the healing not having manifested. So this brings me to the second stage. The second stage was realizing that this was going to be a journey, and I needed to prepare myself. I needed to walk a road, because unconsciously I was beginning to build faith in men, not in God, but in the fact that going to these guys, they would lay their hands on me and I would be healed. Another thing also was I had put so much effort into looking for healing, and that was my primary desire. It was looking for healing. I would do anything. I mean, I found books, I listened to tapes for hours, just looking for healing with all my being. Soon I realized this was just taking a bad toll on me. It was stealing my peace. There was no peace in me. I was troubled. Every turn I go, as I would find Christians asking, when will you walk again? When are you going to get out of this wheelchair? I think this will bring a lot of trouble in my heart, because I did not know. At the beginning, I thought I would just go to a healing minister and they would pray for me and I'll be healed. And finding that was not the case, because they would bring back the burden on me, saying I needed to build my faith. And then again, reading healing books, there were so many formulas in the healing books. I mean, some would say confess the scriptures, some would say do that, some would say do that. There was so many formulas in these healing books, and my peace was taken away.